Hey everyone, it's Olive. I want to share with you some recipe cards that I made for Laura, who is Lauraluvslace here on YouTube. She is doing a challenge, and the challenge is to make her recipe cards, and these are for her daughter Alicia, who is going to culinary school. So congratulations, Alicia. And these are some of the I made her 5 recipe cards, and these 5 recipes I use all the time. Some for parties, and some I use every day around the house. So the first is this Magnolia's vanilla cupcakes. This is a go-to recipe that I use all the time for birthday parties. I help a lot of my friends host their showers and parties for their babies when they're about to get married, and definitely this recipe I use all the time for those events. And Magnolia is a bakery in New York. It's been there for a long time, and it's even to this day it's still pretty crowded. So they came out with the book, and then they shared recipes including their vanilla cupcakes. So that's that. And in this recipe, it came with the vanilla buttercream, but of course you can add chocolate to that. You can just make it your own. So this is a very versatile recipe. Okay, for the cupcake, I use this Inky Antics stamps. Okay, I colored it with my Spectrum Noir and fussy cut it. And the background paper, I use icing on the cake paper, as well as this doily paper in the back of that cupcake there. And all of the recipes, I use craft cardstock that I got from Michael's. And each recipe, I put in plastic and I fused it shut so that she can, if she wants to make a cupcake or use any of the recipes that I included here, she can just take it out and put this in the kitchen, and if she got anything on here, she can just wipe them clean. But if she doesn't want to use the plastic, she can just easily cut it off. Okay, and also FYI, Laura, for some reason my toner in my computer is just acting up. So on some of the words, it just wanted to bleed. It just doesn't want to dry. I've been air drying it for the past couple of days, and still some of the words just wants to bleed. And that's also one of the reasons why I put it inside this plastic, so that it doesn't bleed. So now, you can just do that. It's not gonna bleed, right? Because it's inside of plastics, and that's the other side. So I just decorate actually all on the front side, because most of these recipes, they're pretty wordy. So I just decorate the front. So that's one of the recipe. And then this next one is Excellent Meatballs. And this recipe I got from Amberelle. And for this recipe, I colored Pasta Edwin. He's a mini. And I use Spellbinders die cut to cut these 2 ovals, and the paper pad I use is the Kirby collection, I think, from Hobby Lobby. And again, I used the craft paper from Michael's. And then in this case, this Excellent Meatballs recipe, this is, I must say, I think is the best meatballs recipe that I've ever tasted, including restaurants. Okay, so when I saw Amberelle made this on TV, I was like, yes, I'm gonna try and make that, because in the past, when it comes to Italian food, I always cook simple Italian food at home. For a more elaborate Italian food, then I would go outside and go to restaurants. And meatballs is a dish that I just forgotten. I never made it at home, and I just never ordered it in restaurant. And then so when I saw Amberelle made it one day on television, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give that a try. And it was the most delicious thing that I've ever tasted. So yummy. And Now that I live in New Jersey, there's a lot of Italian restaurant, yummy Italian restaurant. And I've tried spaghetti and meatballs in a couple of restaurants, and I must say, this recipe is still better. I'm not Italian, okay, so I don't know what they're supposed to taste like. All I can say is that to me, this recipe is really good. And it's not because I'm a good cook, it's because this recipe is really good. I think the difference is that Amberel's brown all the meatballs and then let it finish inside the marinara. Whereas I notice most, again, don't quote me on this, okay? I'm not Italian, so I don't know. Most Italian meatball recipe, they roll the meatballs and then just bake them. And then once they're done, then you put it inside marinara. So I think that's why Amberel's recipe is better, because you brown it, yum, and then you let it finish inside the marinara, so the marinara tastes yummy too. So this is the excellent meatball recipe. Definitely should try that. Love. And then this is a lemon cake. And I know when it comes to lemon cake, there's either you like it or you don't. I love lemon cake. I like lemon in my dessert. And I take afternoon tea almost every day. I know that's very British of me, but it's because, you know, I need that extra jolt of caffeine in the middle of the day to get me, you know, to through the rest of the day. And I need to take something with my caffeine. So lemon cake is the perfect solution for me, perfect with my tea. And this recipe I got from Ina Garten, who is Barefoot Contessa. And like I said, I love it. It's really yummy. It holds well. When I make it, I usually just cut it in half, save half of it on the freezer, and then leave the half outside, and it can last up to 4 days, and it's really yummy again. And I know when it comes to lemon cake, I have a friend like, why do you want to eat lemon cake? Just eat the real cake. You know, like as if it's lemon cake is healthier. I mean, it's cake. So yeah, so I know when it comes to lemon cake, there's some partiality to some people, but I love lemon cake. And for this recipe card, I used this die. Build a scene dies. This is my only dies that is cooking food related. So I just used that die and came up with this here, and the paper I use also came from Hobby Lobby. It's from the Kirby collection. And this lemon image I fussy cut from my own recipe card, which I'll be also including. I have these recipe cards. Okay, so I'll be including a few blanks of this for you or your daughter to use. Okay, so I fussy cut that image from this recipe card and put the craft cardstock on top of here. Okay, so that's the lemon cake. And this is a heavily cream filled cupcakes. It's kind of like an upgrade of that Hostess cupcakes. And it's really good. It's so easy. Again, it's very versatile. Even though it says cream filled, you can just take that cream out if you don't want it. I love making this because kids go crazy with that cream filling. And then the one thing that I love too about this is that it's fast, because you don't have to ice each cupcakes. What you do is you just make that ganache and then just pour it all over the cupcakes, and kids love them because it's chocolate ganache. It's yummy. So it's cream filled cupcakes. Again, it's an upgrade of that Hostess cupcakes, and it seems like it's a kind of in thing to do for chefs these days. They're upgrading Twinkies and taking the old classics and just revamped it. And I think there's a lot of chefs are doing these days. So I love this recipe. And again, very versatile. And then also all of these images I got from that, I die cut from this Build a Scene dies, used the Kirby collection paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. Okay, and then the last is kind of like babe salad dressing. And I used to live in Texas, and there's this restaurant called Babes. It's a fried chicken restaurant, yummy. And of course, I go there for their fried chicken, but their salad is yummy. And when I moved here to New Jersey, I missed it so much. So I searched and searched, and I found this recipe from Bree, Sugar, and Grace. It's an online blog, and I adapted it and tweaked it to my liking. And I put here, yes, it does require 4 tablespoons of sugar, but that's because I like my dressing on the sweeter side, okay? If you don't like it sweet, just reduce it. So again, this image, these two I die cut from the Build a Scene dies, and the paper from the Kirby collection from Hobby Lobby. And oh, I forgot to mention that the cream-filled cupcake recipe I got from Pioneer Woman. Now, as you see here, a lot of these recipes I got online. That is because my mom doesn't cook. Her mom doesn't cook, my grandma doesn't cook, so I got no recipes that is hand down to me. I have to search and try and make it my own recipes that yeah, maybe one day I can pass down to my boys and to my boys, I guess. So that is that. Oh my gosh, this is one long video. I've never made a video this long. Anywho, thank you so much everyone for staying tuned and watching these. I do appreciate it. And Laura, I do hope you can find these recipes useful. I will be mailing this to you today, I hope, and hopefully it will get there in time. Okay, thank you everyone again for watching this super long video, and thank you so much for staying tuned. Have a nice day everyone. Bye bye.